8 lettuce, MC Rams, Pedro, 8 weight, 8 WT, 8 wood. Wondering how to pronounce that name, 8 WT. Hey, Sotterbridge. I'm looking for my flippin' very thin metal slip thing that I use to open up these. I'm not talking about the spudger, I'm talking about the... Oops. Jeez, I had it like yesterday I was using it. Shouldn't get very far, not in here. I was kind of hoping I'd find it before the stream got started, but no such luck. Worst case scenario, I have to break out a new one, but I kind of got the other one broken in nicely. It's the thing I use for taking apart the iPads. What do you know? It was with the thing that I use for iPads. Teresa, Tesla's laptop, Danny. Alrighty. I'm actually going to warm this sucker up a little bit. This is an iPhone 13. It seems to be a bad display because you can power it up and then when you plug it in or something like that, you can feel it go brrr. So, hoping that it's just a bad display. That's a little strange. So I don't know if it's an original or not. The customer doesn't know either. So we'll just put it on there, get it warmed up, and then we'll dislodge it with this. Even though it's possibly a bad display, I generally try not to break the displays when I'm getting them out. Because you never know, it could be something else, and then if you do break it, then it's a $100 cost price that you've wasted. I moved the printer. Yeah, everything's been moved. There's no ultrasonic cleaner there either. The printer's just down on the floor at the back for the moment. Yeah, everything's getting moved around. It's just easier with the 12s and 13s to preheat them a little bit. I mean, I'll often use the hot air gun just to top them up a bit, but we'll see how we go. One thing I do have to make sure I do is take out the bottom screws. You will not believe the number of times that I have attempted to get a screen off and I've forgotten about the bottom screws. It's a surefire way of making the job a little bit harder. The second, and yeah, Alright. I'll just turn that off. The damn thing's on too. This is just 130, it's not a lot. And I've got it jammed in most of the width there, and I'm just going to keep applying pressure. Go around, and it will just eventually come up. Or usually eventually comes up. I feel the tension changing on it now. Here it comes. And then I can jam in this one. That holds the place. And then once that one's in, I can jam in the red blade wedge. Actually, the other way I could do is just use a little plastic slip. These sometimes work for this sort of job. The only thing I dislike with these is it can be a little bit easy to slip, and they can cut through stuff pretty quick. The other problem is they don't provide a lot of leverage. In the sense of, they don't lift up the display, put some tension on the display so that as you go around the edge of it, it will let go. Anyway. Yeah, that's still, whoops. There is a flex just there. Yeah, MacBook's coming up after this. I just need to get this one out of the door. Okay. Like I said, it seems like it's a little bit of a waste considering that it's probably a bad screen. But I would rather get the screen off in one piece and find that it's bad than break a good screen. Hey, Mr. Paul Norman. Sunshine SG601G is, what is that? Steady, steady, steady. Nothing quite like the agony of getting 90% done and then it cracks. It's just a bit of IPA on the stick there just to loosen up those last bits of glue. Okay, there we go. I know there's people who can do it a lot faster than that, but I don't do it that often, so speed isn't really a thing for me. So we've still got a bit of binding going. There we go. Oops. Okay. It's an aftermarket screen. It's not one of mine. Because as you know, I mark mine a certain way, and this is not one of mine. So I'm going to guess that this person probably bought this phone secondhand, because they made no mention of the fact that they had a screen replacement prior. And I would guess that it is possibly a LCD one as opposed to an OLED. We'll find out. And one screw has come loose. You can see it's attached up here, which means this has been dropped. Then again, maybe it is an OLED. The fact that the screw came loose means, yeah, and being dropped. And OLEDs tend to, if it's a hard OLED, it yeah, may have decided to end itself then and there. They've been a little bit rough with the extraction of that. Hey Joho. Hey PR. Suction screen. Oh yeah, John, I've never really been a big fan of the suction screen, so yeah. And sometimes they can end up pulling the display out of the bezel too. They're like the plastic frame. I just realised it didn't, that was bad of me. Battery disconnected. Battery reconnected. Okay, so we've got an Apple logo, so it was just a bad screen. That's good. We'll transfer everything across. Anyone know if you can work out whether these are OLED, hard, soft, or LCD? I know there's usually numbers on them that indicate which one they are. Some ways I find this to be the more precarious part of replacing these newer screens. As worst case scenario, you can replace the screen. As in the actual, yeah, if you break a screen, you replace it. But if you stuff these up, I'm not sure the availability of suitable replacements. Hey, sabermetric. Alright, I'm just gonna get that microphone off. Oops. Well, they didn't leave me really any adhesive to use. Bastards. That's annoying. Hey, blind budger, when did you slip in? These are soft OLEDs that I use. Vastly prefer them over the hard. And lately I have been preferring them even over the OEM refurbs. Mostly because I'm starting to find a lot of the OEM refurbs tend to be a bit beaten up. And so you end up with quirks appearing on them. Like I did an XR replacement the other day, within 24 hours, and it was a genuine refurb. Well, not genuine, you know what I mean, it was a refurb of a genuine. And short that afternoon, evening, the person messages me and says, it's playing up on the top side touch area. And so I find that tends to be a little bit too common with refurbs now. I don't know if they get mishandled or they came from a broken phone in the first place, but yeah, I just don't trust them anymore, and they cost more. Antonio, getting postage bits ready. Postage bits? You getting ready for the big Joey thing? What the hell's missing there? Oh, that's just a portal. Oh, sending package to Alphonse. Interesting. Oh right, an actual a tree package. Okay. Like on this screen you can actually see it's got SFT written on it. Whereas on the old screen it's got an H on it, so I'm going to assume that's hard. I don't think I'm going to bother replacing the seal on this because the seal is actually fairly intact. So I think we're good to go with that. Let's see. Just got to remember who this is for. Okay. Anyway, that's my theory. It's a hard OLED, got dropped, cracked, and it's what they do. And even though the suppliers of these, they will often say, hey, you know, we'll even support and honour cracked hard OLEDs under some conditions, it just isn't worth it. I think I've got dozens of screens here that I could probably get replaced under warranty, but I just don't find it's worth it. The time you spend submitting the RMAs and all that sort of stuff. And I think a lot of the shops that, or a lot of the suppliers that sell this stuff kind of rely on that. Unless, of course, you do get a really bad batch where everything's just failing and then you're like, that's it. No, sorry. I'm not taking that one. For those wondering, yes, I deliberately leave the plastic on the back of the screen there. Hey, Lewis Akos. I never used to leave those plastic films on there, but I found I preferred to write the customer details on the plastic film. And unless there's a true technical reason, I can't think of any real reason to take them off. And it does mean if for whatever reason you do have to RMA it, then it looks like it's still relatively fresh and original. Hey, Rilla. Okay, now these can be quirky getting the tops latched in. I have found every now and then that it just won't quite catch and it'll end up with a bit of a bulging top. It's not a lot, but it's enough to irritate the living daylights out of you. We're good there. Let's see if I've got a protector for this one. And then we've got a couple of Macs to fix. I'm out. 13 Pro Max, 13 Mini. How do I not have a 13? Ugh. No. Enjoying those bickies. Alright. Where's my box of protection? Aha. So we're just after a standard 13. For some reason I don't seem to have the particular brand and style that I prefer. I don't seem to have the 13s, which is kind of strange. So Pro Max, 13, there we go. The only trouble is these ones, I do not like them as, yeah. That could be why I haven't bought a box of the other ones. Because I'm thinking, well, you've got a few already, use them up. I do keep these just in case. Hey there, Q's. Alright. Most of the time with this particular brand, for some reason, they're always very short of the edge. This one's not too bad, actually, so that's good. Okay. Here we go. It's not perfect, but it will suffice. You can probably 3D print guides to make the installation process easier. Okay, let's see if that charges up. Oh, it's 95% charged, so that's why it's not producing a lot on screen. Alright, that's good. Customer will be happy. I'll just message them, let them know. Had been dropped, and it was a okay, done. Let's say I got a 1990 and a 1990. Guess we'll go for a 1990. Yeah, I type reasonably okay, but Rossman is the king of that sort of thing. Rossman is just a maniac when it comes to typing. I don't think the guy himself knows what he's typing. He just sort of detaches his brain from his hands, and he just like says, hands, you do what you got to do, and they just go crazy. It's a marvel to see in action. Oh yeah, he trashed me. He trashed me solid. Of course, my typing is not really like document typing or anything like that. My typing is more programming typing, so outright speed is not really my thing, and I don't really tend to type in long sequences of words, except for just what you experience then, or emails. But anyway, undoubtedly Rossman was a superior performance typer. Uh-oh, now I'm in trouble. What do we got going on here? Purchased it from the good guys? Whoa, that's not good. Yes, it definitely is not an original iPhone Apple screen, full stop. At least the rest of the phone is working, and it appears to be in fairly good condition, full stop. Yeah, interesting. They bought it from a proper big retail store, and yeah, that wasn't an original. They often do that, they get the refurbs and things like that, because people do want the older phones, because people are like, I don't want the newest one, I just want something that's going to do the job. Oh, we've got a battery replacement in here, this is going to be fun. It's a little dusty too, so typically that there is the problem on the underside. I guess we'll see. The question is, has it gone too far, or can it be saved? Okay, continuity meter up. Hey creature. We've got normal reading on that one. It's interesting. And that one said, oh, wait, no. Yeah, 416 is normal. Alright, what about PP bus? We have a blown PP bus. Alright, that's fun. Okay, that could still actually be the cap. Yeah, it's probably still that cap. We'll get it open, have a look, but it'll probably be the cap that we're thinking of. And funnily enough, it's probably what killed the battery, which is why the battery had to be replaced, but then they replaced the battery and found it still hadn't fixed anything. And it could be now that the battery's been drained so far, even though it was a new one, that it's gone into lockout mode. Hilarity ensures. Full stop. It tells Siri to put a full stop there. And you can say things like line break, stuff like that. These machines and this particular fault, if it is this particular fault, then why can't I speak? It was initially looking like we had ourselves a really nice, easy money-making situation, but it turned out it got ugly afterwards, because the initial ones were the easy fix, like pop the cap off, replace it, whatever, no problem. But then after a while they started getting ugly in the form of they were eating into the board and they were killing the NAND controllers and all that sort of stuff. So now it's 50-50. Can I just say that the new 15-inch MacBook Air, the M3 one I think it is, sucks for disassembly. It's really nasty. You got to take the speakers out, you got to take all sorts of things out before you can get the logic board out. And we don't have a board view and we don't have a schematic for it. I've got one here and it's doing a rapid 400 milliamp 5 volt type pulsation, so I'm thinking PMIC area. I ran the infrared camera on that last night in the dark and everything, and I cannot find it. So it's a mystery. I am getting a lot of capacitors these days, the MLCCs, and they will short out at anything up to like 20-30 ohms. So yeah, you can't really pick it. It's just a case of what happens is the PMIC fires up, the PMIC notices something's out of balance or you're not quite right, and then it shuts down. But most of that 400 milliamps you see is really, I think, just the rest of the system. It's not the short itself consuming that power. Oh yeah, the blown speaker amp is another common one on these. I don't know why it picks the speaker amp caps, but you're right, yes. And for whatever reason, Apple puts them on the PP bus. Same for the iPhones too. Puts it on the main VBAT rail for whatever reason. I guess so that, no, I don't know why. Alright, that's some nice healthy grungy muck there. Oh yeah. I should box that up and sell it. Yeah, okay. So this corner here is the one where all the damage occurs. And you can see why. So if we're lucky, this has just popped on that cap and we'll be able to fix it up. The rest of the board doesn't look too bad yet, but we will go over it because it's not unusual to get a second corroded area just building up. It won't be yet faulty, but it could well be in 3 months' time, and you don't want this coming back at you. Alright. Turn the extractor off, which is also my vacuum cleaner, which is really bad because it chokes up the filter, which makes scrubbing the air less efficient, which means I breathe in more trash. Alright, there we go. Yep, that's it. That's very nicely cracked. So what often happens is if you get unlucky, this will crack just enough to cause a short and it'll start getting really hot. And then it burns its way through here, starts converting the epoxy layer into carbon, and then it just keeps going through. These ones, this is on the 2v5 NAND side, so this is where the NANDs are being powered from. That one there, and that one there. You know, often I replace all of them, but anyway, so those two for sure. And we've got the usual speckles of corrosion up the side. Nothing out of the ordinary. And top side's okay. Hey Tom, Lalo. The thing you really don't want to see on the top side when you're looking at this regulator is if you get like a dark oily mark on there, like a dot that's dark and oily, like someone spilled some flux on there or something. If you see that, it's pretty much end of the road for the board or for the NANDs, because it means that that chip got really hot, cremated itself, and probably sent quite a lot more than 2.5 volts to the NAND. We're just going over the rest of the area to have a look, see if anything really jumps out. Fortunately, this is only populated on one side in terms of the NANDs. Hey DJ. It's funny creature, I just got my phone bill today. We used 2 megawatt hour last month. There we go, see a bit of damage there. And my solar produced about 0.9 megawatt hour, so collectively we used almost 3 megawatt hour of power last month. Very little of that went back to the grid. Okay, just marking it so I know to come back, or at least hopefully I'll come back. Yeah, I think we're good. Let's get that replaced. Yeah, solar is very good for these sort of areas up here. The real difficulty we have is actually getting permission to install enough. And I got an email today from the place that did the solar on here previously, which I've had some pretty big fights with. There's nothing technically wrong with what they've installed. It's just a case of I'm frustrated by the fact that we went through the whole process for them to only install a 6.6 set of panels and 5 kilowatt out. And it's essentially useless to me. It's, I mean, okay, yeah, it cuts down one third of my bill, but I need a hell of a lot more than that. And I told them that, and they saw the power bills. They knew how much we were using, and they just still didn't. They just decided, no, we're not going to go for it. And they put a 5 kilowatt inverter on it, and I was like, well, that's great. Now I can't go anywhere. To be fair, we're lucky in this house that we have we have two main, we have a main circuit and a sub-circuit. and I can actually put another set of panels and everything onto the house and have it as a separate circuit entirely. I don't care about feeding power back to the grid. Honestly, it's pointless. We use it all. About the only time we don't is in winter, and big whoop, we don't care because our power bills are already pretty tiny at that time. But for summer, yeah, we really needed about 15 kilowatt of install here. Alright, let's just verify we've cleared that short. Numbers are going to be a little bit funny. Yeah, that's fine. And that's fine. Power per kilowatt hour goes negative and so, yeah, I'd imagine it would, because you don't really need a lot of cooling. Winter's obviously when you really want your bulk power in your area. Solar's not going to help you much there. But definitely here, it's the perfect mix. What the hell? Why that cold? It's gone cold already. That's kind of crazy. Oh, it wasn't cold. It was just that it was firing up the wrong soldering iron. The first one that went beep was actually the micro pencil, not the big chunky one I was using. Okay, clean up. Yeah. Okay, we're going to clean up these side ones as well, but we need to use some 80/20 for that. If you use IPA on this, you're not going to have much luck getting up that corrosion. Yeah, just pure IPA. See, whereas with 80/20, it comes up beautifully. Okie dokie. Let's put a little bit of flux. It's a little bit too much. And we need to get suitable caps. Let's see, 603s and 402s. I did see a YouTube thumbnail about that stuff, but I haven't looked at it yet. I don't keep up with a lot of things. I spend my days dealing with stupid bugs in the software. Like, I spent 2 days trying to work out why the hell Windows was clobbering the UTF-8 file names, trying to pass them in through the command line. I don't even know why it was doing that. And hilariously, once I did finally fix it, the person who was testing with me, they went back to the old version of the software and they're like, hey, it works. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. So, I don't know. Anyway, the way I've got it set up now, it's quite robust. It's just a little weird that Windows doesn't provide a command line to args A option. They have a command line to args W for wide char, but not for byte. I mean, you basically create it just by, you take the you take the wide char command line and then you just convert it down into UTF-8. But it would be nice if Windows just had that as part of their standard API. Hey, David Willits. Like I said, I got around it, but it would have been nice if I didn't have to in the first place. Like with macOS and Linux, it's just like, yep, the command line parameters are UTF-8 already, so what's the problem? There was no problem. But the Windows, it's like, I don't know, I'm not sure I like this UTF-8 stuff, I want WCHAR16. And then it changes its mind. I need some flux there. So we got a MagSafe Qi charger from Anker. I don't know. I mean, 40 sounds reasonable. Okay, I'm being overly pedantic here. That one's not done. God damn it. Now you see I'm fretting now. I'm fretting because I'm like, okay, you've now applied 3 lots of heat to this section and there's a NAND nearby. But at the same time, I can't leave this cap just floating here. We're good. It's just going to be messy to clean up. I've still got a couple of tubes of flux left. That'll last me a long time. I really do not go through a lot of flux, as you can well see. Ugh, it's ugly as. Save me from a pedantic ugliness. I might just have to live with that. Oh, that's right, we've got the other side to deal with. So this is why I pink dot it, because the pink dot is very hard to miss. Now the question is that going to come off with a soldering tip? I'm going to need to hot air that. 99% sure I'm going to have to hot air that little sucker. I hate that. Yep, that's brilliant, Paul. Just flux residue everywhere. Oh yeah, you've done it. Done it proud now, you idiot. No. Oh, there it is. It's because I refuse to use hot tweezers. Yes, I do, because most of the time hot tweezers on these boards doesn't do the job. Okay, maybe if they're like $4,000 or $5,000 JBC or better tweezers, maybe. I don't know. All I know is it doesn't work very well normally. Why do I have a vibration on the bench? Stop that. No. It actually doesn't take much to transfer the vibration from the fume extractor onto the bench, or the microscope head. It just, a cable gently resting against the hood is more than enough to do it. It doesn't even have to be a thick cable. Alrighty, I guess we kind of need to find out what the hell that part was. Even rubber dampers would transfer it, I found. Unless you get like really big ones. No, I just got to keep the extractor from touching the bench at all. It's as simple as that. As long as it doesn't touch it and there's no transfer medium, it's good. Yeah, I know about. I can always tell if I've popped one of those tantalums. You can smell it so quickly. And you're like, oh yeah, that's not good for my health. I'm just waiting for Flexboard View to build. I've been doing a lot of changes, so I kind of want to make sure I got the latest release. Ah, good. So we're on 1041. And it's over here. We're on this one here. 100 nanofarad, 35 volts. Alright. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it probably could have lived perfectly fine without that. But I'll stick it back on anyway. 201 caps, where are you? So 100 nanofarad, 35 volts. Oh wow, I haven't used any of these. Huh. I get to break open the fresh strip. There we go. Just gonna steal a little bit more flux. That's way too much. That's a flux tsunami. Hammer down. Q's, I don't buy the part Bibles. I just do a mass order from DigiKey or Farnell or Element, whoever your choice of supplier is. So yeah, I just go through their selection lists and pick 100 or 1,000 of each and go down the list. It's okay if you can actually get proper high-spec, genuine supplier books, as opposed to the ones from AliExpress and such. The AliExpress ones, I've had a few of those where the part values are nowhere near what they should be. Well out of tolerance, and the caps you don't even know if they're actually capable of handling the voltage, let alone being in tolerance. It's a little bit too much of a gamble. So yeah, I just go through my supplier and just like pick 100 nanofarad 201s and then pick off all the voltages, buy 1,000 of each or 100 of each. I've just got to go and clear this terror out, and it's got to be done outside, so it won't be too long. Hey Luna, what you doing, girl? Trying to kill me, girl. Racing in front of me like that. A little bit hard to tell at night whether I got enough of that, but we'll just airbrush it out. I think we're good. Okay, the 1990 doesn't really need too much tape. This is about the only one that you want to tape back. Maybe this one over here. You're not even going to stay taped, are you? No, you're not. Okay. Rider kit was 800. Gee, what was that for? Caps and resistors, and what ranges and what sizes? Like that. Once I got the initial stuff out of the way, yeah, going through that full set of lists and stuff like that, it wasn't too bad. I reckon the people packing the order probably went cursing at me. And usually 100 units of each is a good start. If you find you're running out quick, then yeah, you bump it up to, okay, well, let's get 1,000 next time, or a reel. Okay, well, we'll give this a test before we put the screws in. Worth kit as in that is in connectors and stuff. The real trick too, by the way, this is a replacement battery, which means it now has 20 volts most likely through the circuit. Because the third-party batteries, they don't seem to have a proper bit of circuitry to inhibit the power. So let's see if that's the case. Kind of helps if I select voltage. There we go. Ah, good thing this meter copes with my abuse. Alright, looks like I'm wrong. That's only quarter of a volt going through there. But a lot of them are very prone to pushing through 20 volts or 12 volts or whatever it is that's coming out of the pack. Unless, of course, this is just charged to death, discharged to death. In which case it has no voltage. And there is its full voltage, in which case the pack is ruined. Hey, Bazar. Let's see, here we go. Come on, give us 20 volts. Okay, we've got our 20 coming up. Now, hopefully it doesn't restart. It is charging, it's booting. Ooh, it jumped to 600. Come on, come back. If it keeps cycling over, then it's end of the road. Although it didn't reset the USB. Usually if the NANDs have failed, it resets the USB-C connection, so you're back to 5 volts each time. This looks like it just decided it had an initial surge, and now it's like, okay, now we're going to do the incremental build up on the charge. We don't have a display. Oh, we do. There we go. Alright, so that's fixed. Classic 1990 fault. But it does have to be handled properly. This is why for 1990s, 2141s, you just don't power them up until you've had a chance to take the board out and have a look at those key areas which tend to get attacked by the corrosion. So what are we for time? 11 o'clock. Might see how we go with the other one. I'll put all the screws back in this one because it's just... I want to be nicer to my tomorrow self. Got 63% charge actually. So that battery actually is a good one. Just assume it's not though in future. Yeah, I want to be nice to my tomorrow self, so when I have to ship this out, it's already ready to go, as opposed to, oh, now I've got to go put the screws all back in. Hey, on stage, where have you been lately? To be fair, it's probably myself that is at fault. I'm very sporadic, intermittent with my streaming. Haven't even done an edited video in quite some time now. I blame the fact that I've been focusing all of my energy into Flexboard View. We got the new file formats decoded, and then I've been doing quite a lot of improvements on the user interface. We now have the update facility built into the program. Now, I know most programs have that, but it was just another thing to add. And it's surprising how long even simple features can take to add. Like there was a request I had to be able to dump the component name strings from a board just by passing it as an argument on the command line and requesting that process. Technically, it should have been a 5-minute thing. Realistically, it was quite a lot more than 5 minutes. So simple requests are not always simple to implement. Even if they are technically simple, I mean, I already had all the requirements to do what was required. And even in my own mind, I was thinking, oh, this should only be about 5 minutes. Yeah, it certainly did not end up like that. Yeah, there's no such thing as a 5-minute job. Every now and then you get tricked into it. And I've had people getting upset at me over the fact that I won't implement something because, they want it. And they're like, but it's simple, it shouldn't take you long at all. And it's not that their idea is bad or anything like that. It's more a case of, I'm currently working on other things. I'll put that in the back of my mind and I'll think about that, and you never know, it may sort of have its time that comes around. I'm like, oh yeah, that person wanted this feature and I can now implement that. And there's so many things that can end up revealing unexpected side effects as well. And that was one of the things with this string dump function, in that during the loading process of the file, there's a lot of things that go on with the data that you do, that you work on. And there were certain expectations and checks and things like that. And there's a lot of stuff that you just forget that gets done, and yeah, you get tripped up on that. And you spend half a day tracing through your program trying to find out why the hell is it crashing here, what's going on. And then eventually it dawns on you, like, oh, that's right, because it's not done this way, and so on and so forth. Anyway, yeah, so these things often take longer than expected. Questions and answers. Isn't that what I'm doing right now? I mean, I have considered a AMA, but I'm not sure it would be that interesting. Currently doing some Orc. Oh wow, cool. Good old Orc. I don't use it much myself anymore. I do still use SED, but not so much Orc. Yeah, come on, you little... What? You don't want to sit on that? Come on, there, go. No, there, much better. Oh, sometimes the edges of this T4 driver, they're a smidge rounded just from, yeah, they're a good tool, but inevitably they do get rounded a little bit. And sometimes the screws are just that little bit more shallow than you want them to be. And it's a bad combination. It makes it very hard to actually get things lined up properly. I suppose I should just replace it. Been using this one for many years now. The other option is if you can just flatten it, if you can get it perfectly perpendicular. If you can't get it perfectly perpendicular, then you'll just make it worse. Unix regression. That's not regression, that's progression. To be fair, I never really left Unix much. Well, I should say Unix-ish, since Linux is technically not a Unix. If you want to get pedantic about that kind of thing. But yeah, I do love my shell scripting and various things. Make files. Barely tolerating CMake files, but I suppose they're a necessity for some things. Okay. Oh yes, Vim. There's no other editor. Vim is what it is. I'm actually trying out a new font at the moment for the programming. I'm trying out JetBrains. Previously I was using Inconsolata, but someone suggested JetBrains. I don't know, I'll give it a shot. Let's see how we go. Oh yay, that's a nice dirty looking... Yeah, I'll go brush that out. Yeah, JetBrains Mono and what? Capuchin Mocha. Capuchin Mocha, is that your, that'll be your color theme, right? A macro? What's up, buddy? You gonna come in? You gonna come in? What are you doing? You're not gonna get locked in. It's too early for that. Alright, look at everything. Yep, battery cover. Okay. I think I'm actually going to finish it up at this point because it's 11:15 now and I kind of feel like I just want to kick back. It's been a bit of a stressful day It'd be nice to do something other than fixing things for a little bit. Actually go see the family. It's kind of ridiculous. I work from home, but I'm almost never home, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it's always work, 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 work. Pat some kitties, yes, good stuff like that. Okay, I'm just going to put those components into our little drug bag. So that when the person says, well, that sounds nasty. When the person says, I don't believe you fixed it, I can show them the video and I can show them the parts. Okay, green stripe means that it is successfully repaired. Red means it is not. Blue means it's partially repaired, data recovery required, not for general purpose use. Okay. Yeah, I know, Antonio, with the where I messaged them several times about that. So, you know, why don't you have a driver for taking the bottom of MacBooks off and stuff? And they're like, oh, not many people use the driver. You know, it's not used around the place very often. I'm like, you kidding me? So anyway, yeah, I had to end up getting a Weeha one. Well, someone sent those to me. I wish I remember who it was. How's the kitty Bladderstones? Fortunately, he's been doing okay. He is getting into the biscuits, the Hills treatment biscuits, mostly, and he does eat the wet food a little bit. So we'll let him run through the entire bag of biscuits and see how he goes. But yeah, we haven't had a relapse yet. Mind you, it's not even been a week yet, but we're keeping a close eye on him, of course. Alright, this is all working. I don't have a login, so I can't verify the trackpad, unfortunately. That's okay. Alright, that's it for me for tonight. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all coming in and sitting around and keeping me entertained while I do some hard, boring work. And I don't know when the next one will be, but I'll try and let you know before it happens. Catch you later. Until then, you'll take care. I'll see you next time.